Okay, so we are about to get into, so you want to start a math club. But before we get into why you should want to start a math club, I wanted to get into some announcements real quick. I did want to make my number one announcement. A member of my Discord server, he goes by King Ravi there, has created a YouTube channel where he does singing. It's called Gana Sonata, I believe. And I'm going to link it in the description of this video. You should check out his channel. He really has a talent and a passion for singing. He's just, in school still, but I think it's really worth checking out. I don't have any idea exactly what he is saying, as it's not the language that I learned growing up, but he really has a good talent, and I really think you should check it out. I don't always give shout outs to everybody in my Discord server and what they're doing, but he's been a long time part of it, and he always participates, and he's a really nice kid, and you should check it out. So the next thing is the test dates. They are November 10th and 16th, if you hadn't heard yet. That's coming up in like 4 weeks now, so we don't have a whole lot of time until that. I do have classes ongoing. If you'd like to email me, you can find the email in my channel description or in the About page of the channel or wherever it's located on there. I do currently have classes. We have an AMC 10 and 12 past test review. The AMC 10 past test review is on Wednesdays. For AMC 12, there is a Saturday and Sunday class. I also have an Intro to Geometry class that is on Saturday evenings, Pacific time. There's an AMC Fundamentals class, which is currently, I think, right around chapter 11. And we're just working through it, going methodically through the text. We cover everything in it. Every problem is done, no matter how difficult. We use volume 1 as the text. There's also an AMC 8 past test review. The AMC 8 is in January. This class is currently on Thursdays, an hour and a half long. After the contest, there will be additional classes that I will be starting probably in December, an Intro to Counting and Probability class, an Intro to Number Theory, and possibly Intro to Algebra or other texts that people might be interested in. If you're interested in classes, send me an email. The Discord is in the description of this channel, along with King Ravi's YouTube channel link. That's about it for now. Sorry it's been a while since I filmed. I've just been really busy with work. I'm strongly considering taking out a business loan next year just to take a month off so I can stop working and start doing more things with the channel and trying to film more. Right now I'm just working way too much, 7 days a week, and I haven't had time, all kinds of appointments and things like that. And I know I'm always saying sorry for not filming. I do the best I can. Adulting is very difficult. There's many responsibilities that you have to take care of and things the government makes us do, like our taxes and different registrations and all that kind of stuff that we have to do to survive, not to mention doctor's appointments and getting your car fixed and repairs and oil changes and all the different things that you have to navigate to make life work. But we're going to get started on this with part 1. There will be part 2 and part 3 maybe in the future. We talk more about how to go about it. This part, we're just going to look at why you should start one. Stick around, we're going to get started. Alright, so now for the main part of this video, which I am titling, So You Want to Start a Math Club. This will be part 1. There's going to be other parts to it, and an alternative title could be why you should start a math club, because perhaps you're not in the group of people who would like to start a math club, but I would advocate that you should be. And so we're going to get to that. In my Discord server, some students in there have been asking, how to go about starting a math club, or what should they do, or how should they do it, or why, and all this kind of stuff. If I was going to do it, what kind of materials and everything like that. And so they maybe their school doesn't have one yet, or they've moved to a school district that's smaller and there's nothing like that going on. I spoke with a student today who there'd never been an AMY qualifier in his county, and that was pretty neat. And he actually started a server called Math Club, in fact. And so I want to get to this question, and I want to start with why. Before I begin with why, let me just say, I'm not the guru of math club formation. Okay, I'm just going to give you some ideas. This is me brainstorming. I wanted to be able to try to answer this question rather than just in my Discord server, which you should join if you're looking for mathematical community. but the link will be in the description of this video. So I don't know that everything I suggest here is the perfect suggestion, okay? I apologize in advance if some of this might not be applicable to you or not beneficial for you. These are just ideas I have about why you should start a math club, okay? So why? Let's get to that point. The main reason that I feel, my personal opinion, that you should do it is to help others. Okay, the math club, you might have different ideas. What is a math club? Well, it's a club that looks at math. And there's different things that you can do in there. One of them would be, maybe there's local math competitions. Your math club team could go compete in those competitions. There's national competitions with like 3 or 4 people that you need to have to go attend. Maybe you could form several teams from your math club that could go compete in these things. You probably enjoy competition math if you're watching this channel, and so that could be something that you could do in the math club. You could form a group of like-minded people who would like to improve their skill and discuss interesting math problems amongst each other. And for that aspect, great, that's definitely part of it. My vision would be a 2-part of the math club. There'd be that part, and there'd be another part where these people who are probably fairly strong in math or, doing decently, they could then go about helping other people. And so why do we need to help other people? Well, one of the reasons, throughout history, there's always going to be people who don't thrive in math. But recently we had these pandemic shutdowns. And I'm not sure if you follow the news. I understand if you don't, it can be depressing. It can cause angst and anxiety and all of that kind of thing. And so it's understandable if you don't pay as much of attention to it. But the pandemic shutdowns resulted in the first ever decline in math scores in the 50-year history of the National Assessment of Educational Progress long-term trend test. It went down by 7 points. So I'm not sure if you were aware, but not everybody learns remotely maybe as well as you did. Maybe you're one of the ones who didn't learn as well remotely and you preferred the in-person. There's a lot of people in society, in our world, that are underprivileged. They might not have the fancy laptop that always connects to the internet. They might not know how to update drivers and things like that. They might have had difficulty connecting. They might not have the best internet connection in their community. Maybe they just don't learn well that way. And that's okay. Everybody learns differently. Some of us are visual, some are auditory, and there's things that we need to have to be able to be conducive to the best way for us to learn. Okay? So if you did great in the shutdown and you learned fine and you don't understand why other people didn't, congratulations. Good that you didn't have any issues, but some people did, obviously, right? This is a pretty big deal, and these are the people who are going to make up society in the next generation that you're going to be a part of. And so there's something that you might have a vested interest in being able to help them get back to, where they can succeed as well at what they're trying to do as they progress through their education. And so you might be thinking, oh, but the government or adults are going to solve this problem. I'm sure they're probably more equipped to handle this than me. I'm just 14 or 15 or 16 or whatever age you might be at, and they probably can do a better job. I would suggest that it was adults that put us in this situation as a society, and maybe it might not be best to just rely on them. So you might not know, but there's a lot of very famous young people who have made a massive impact. Joan of Arc was 13 years old when she led an army, a military army. She had no military experience, and she led a French army to victory in the 100 Years' War with the English at 13. That's 13, okay? So, wow, okay? The French person, Louis, I think his name is Braille. They can't say L in French, so it's like Louis Braille or something like that is how it's pronounced in French. He created, in America, we probably call it Braille. And he created this language that the blind could understand by touching at the age of 15. And you can't lead a math club in your local school? Think about the impact that one 15-year-old had on people less fortunate than him. And this could be you. You could be someone like a Joan of Arc or a Louis Braille that you could make an impact in society in that way. It doesn't have to wait till some future time when you're declared to be an adult by society that you begin to make this impact. So why wait on the government? Let's not. Don't wait on them. You can do it. Trust me. You can handle it. So be an ambassador for math. This would be the second reason that I would encourage you to do it. You, if you're watching this channel, you probably like math in some capacity. Great. It's a very interesting and fascinating subject, and it's very rewarding to study. But maybe other people could also be inspired by your love and your passion for math. And so you might want to go and reach into other circles of individuals that are not perhaps part of your circle of friends. And you might want to reach in and share with them your love of math. Okay? And so you can share your story, you can share your passion, you can try to inspire the same love of math that you feel. I would caution you to be careful in this, that you don't just make it about you. I mean, while I'm sure you are amazing, not everyone wants to know everything about you. Sometimes they want to hear about how what you are interested in could be beneficial to them. And so you might want to kind of share it from a different perspective as well. But it's okay to share part of that. Sure, tell them about your journey to where you got. But understand that there needs to be something else besides that in there as well. So the next thing I have on here, part C, I guess, of this number one of part one, is life begins. Okay, so when I was at university, there was a professor who was very esteemed at the school that I was at, and he had a story about how somebody taught him, and then he was passing this on to us. And it was a speech basically about when life begins. And so, if you don't mind, I'm going to have a little bit of water here real quick. It's very dry here. My throat gets dry. So you might be thinking, when does, my life's going to begin? Let's say you're in middle school. Okay, you're thinking, man, I just can't wait to get to high school. I'm not so happy now. I'm not doing so great now. But when I get to high school, that is when I'm going to be happy. I'll be able to join the tennis team or the chess team or something like that, right? You want to do that. Okay, you get to this high school. I can take AP courses maybe or honors classes. They don't have that in my middle school. And so I can't wait till I can do those kinds of things. Great. Okay, then you get to high school and it becomes, man, this is good and all, but man, when I'm a senior, that's going to be when life is really good, because now I'm at the top of the pyramid and I'm going to be, man, the one that everyone's going to look up to me, right? And whatever your goals are, you want to be, at this older age when that's when I will really start to make an impact and shine, and I'll start to be happy, and all of these kinds of things that we envision for that future vision of us. And then we get to that point in time in our lives and it becomes the next thing. It becomes, well, man, when I get to college or university, that is when I'm going to start really enjoying life. I'll be out of school, not dealing with all of these things in high school, these petty things that I have to deal with now. I'll be away from home. I'll be my own person. I'll have autonomy. And I'm going to really, that's going to be it. I'm going to start to really enjoy life at that point. Maybe I'll do an internship. Maybe I'll do all these things. And then you get there and it's, man, I can't wait till I get out of school. And I'm going to start at that point. Then I'll finally get a paycheck. And that's when I'm going to begin enjoying life. And maybe you have other visions that you would like to accomplish in life. Not everyone has these, understand. Some people don't. Maybe you'd like to get married at some point. Maybe you'd like to own a home. Maybe you'd like to have children. Maybe you don't want to have children. Maybe you don't want to own a home. Maybe you don't want to get married. But there's certainly probably something that you envision your future self doing. Whatever it is. I want to travel. Right? But I can't yet travel because I don't make enough money. So when I graduate university, then I will have the money to travel, and that's when I will be happy. And then you have this next thing and this next thing, and before you know it, you can look back and life's already gone by. And so you don't really want to wait until that future time to start enjoying and making an impact and doing something within society that could make a difference. Okay? Don't wait till that future time. Life is now. It's right now. It's at this moment. You're watching this. You can be happy with what you're doing now. And if you can't, find a way to do that. Find a way to be happier. And that's not easier. That's easier said than done. Trust me. I'm somebody who knows a lot about dealing with happiness and the issue of it. So I totally understand if you're not able to flip that switch and see it in that way. But the goal should be to try to accomplish that. Keep wrestling with that dilemma, if you will, of how to achieve something of meaningful life, but you can make an attempt to achieve that now. You don't have to wait till that future event that you envision is going to be the solution to this dilemma that you're experiencing now. It should be something that you try to do at this moment. Okay, so it could be that you begin today, you could begin tomorrow, you could begin next week. You could start brainstorming now about how you can start this math club, right? So then the next one is gifted, right? I think you've probably heard this phrase in some, I'm parsing words here. Maybe you've heard it in a different form than this. Something along the lines of, man, that kid has a real gift. Maybe your teachers have said it about you, maybe your parents, your aunt or your uncle, your spiritual leader of whatever kind, somebody, or maybe they said it about a friend of yours, right? You probably know some gifted people, and maybe you are indeed gifted. Maybe you really do have a real gift. But I have a question. Why is it that you think that gift is for you? What is it about that gift that you think it's for you? It's for you to achieve accolades and awards and, oh, you got a first place trophy. Oh, you're so good. And so impressive, right? And that's what the gift is for. It's so that you can achieve more in life. It's about you, right? Maybe not. Maybe you did receive a gift. And maybe that gift is not for you, but it's a gift for you to give to other people. And it's not you that's the gift. Let's not mix that up in there as well. The gift might be whatever skill that you seem to inherently possess. The question is, what are you doing with it? Is it just so that you can pile up the accolades and people can praise you more? Right? Maybe you could do something with that gift, like make a change in society like Louis Braille did back when he was 15 years old and change the world for blind people. Right? Think about the impact you could have. Maybe you're not going to have that massive impact. What if you only made a difference for one person? Maybe it's your neighbor, maybe it's somebody at your school, maybe it's somebody at a neighboring school, but you could make a difference in that life. Is it going to be profound like Joan of Arc and Braille language? Maybe it won't get to that level, but maybe it will. You never know the impact that you can have unless you try. So if you're gifted, let's see what you can do with it. If you're really, truly gifted, there should be something that you can do with that gift besides receive accolades and praise. So next thing, make sure your purpose and intent is clear. What do I mean by that? You're probably fairly smart. If you're watching this channel and you're interested in the kind of topics that I discuss here, there's a good chance that you're gifted or that you have a high mathematical acumen, and you're probably pretty good at reflecting and analyzing and thinking about things. And you might be aware that there are benefits to this. And you might realize, oh, by engaging in this, I might make my college applications look better. There's nothing wrong with you observing the benefit for yourself. There's nothing wrong with being happy about the benefit for yourself. I would just encourage you that you don't make it the central focus, that you don't make it the only thing that you're trying to do is benefit you. The purpose, again, should be to help others. So when you start to notice your mindset gravitate towards one of the personal benefits for me, I would ask you to try, even though you're aware of those things, there's nothing to be ashamed about, that you're aware that you're receiving a benefit from this, but try to refocus your attention back on where I believe, this is again my opinion, that you should have it, which would be on the difference that you're making in the lives of other people. And so then we go down to, the ulterior motives you might question and all that. That's fine. It's okay. Let's just question it and then try to recenter the focus and move back in that direction. So lastly, I did want to get to, there are personal benefits for you. If you start this kind of a math club, what are these personal benefits? Let's talk about it. I was decent at math. Yeah, I was pretty good. But you know when I got really good? I got really good when I started teaching other people. When you start trying to teach or explain things to other people, you have to explain what you know in a way that another human, that's not you and doesn't have your experiences, that they can understand it. And this is going to be a really enjoyable situation for you perhaps. You're going to start explaining something to another student, and you're going to think, oh man, I explained this in the most wonderful, easy to understand way because I'm such a good teacher at this. I'm so good at it. Or maybe you don't feel that way, but you might at some point when you're teaching feel like you did a great job, and the student's going to give you this blank stare. what? What did you just say? And they're not going to understand. You're going to be confounded, like, what? How could I say it any differently? And the deal is, that student doesn't have your background. They don't have the knowledge that you have. And when you start throwing out technical words like, say, factorial, they might not know what that means. They might not know, oh, that's just 4 choose 2. What? What's 4 choose 2? Right? So you're going to learn how to present information in a way that other people can digest it. And when you do that, as you're explaining things to other people, you might spot things in that problem that, wow, I never thought about. I could actually attack this problem in a different way. And you're going to pick up skills that are going to improve your own mathematical acumen and holistic understanding of math as you go through it. I'm not sure if you've had this experience yet, but another reason why at your age you can make a better difference, a lot of teachers, as they've taught for many years, one quick second, throat's getting dry. As they've taught for many years, they've forgotten what it was like. You had this situation, this thing you're trying to teach, factoring, let's say. The teacher is on the other side of what it looks like to learn factoring, right? And they don't remember the weird questions you had in your head back when they were first learning it, back when they didn't know how to factor or anything like that. They've forgotten the difficulty of the novice learner. The person who was learning it for the first time, they don't remember what that's like anymore. And they're explaining it from a perspective that the first-time learner doesn't understand, but you do, because you just learned it in the last few years. You kind of remember the little subtle things that made sense to you at that time. You could possibly even make a bigger impact in the understanding of other kids your age or younger that your teacher can no longer make because they don't remember what that was like. And so that's something that you can do when you're explaining and teaching to other people. And I can't tell you like how many times I noticed something. Maybe the 10th time I was solving a problem, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a massive shortcut here and I never saw it. And it was through explaining it to someone else that I discovered those things and thereby increased my own skill. So you're also going to be able to gain leadership skill, right? When you have to do this kind of thing, you're trying to lead this club or whatnot, you're going to gain a skill of leadership. And this is something that, yes, colleges will look at on your application. You made an impact, right? It's not just about all these things that you have as a skill. Your application's not necessarily just about you, but it's what you did with it. It's what you're doing with it, the change that you're making in society, and maybe it's not as massive as some historical figures have accomplished. Maybe you, again, make only a difference for a few people. Maybe it's just one. But you can still share that story and you can still gain an impact with the colleges that you apply to because you used your gift for a positive effect on society. And so I would say that it increases the chance that your college application gets a better look and you probably would have a higher chance of acceptance. If you're just somebody who's going along to get along to just help you, I mean, that's great and all, but somebody who did something to help other people, that's going to elevate the status of your application to look even better. And so that's about it. The other thing I wanted to say is that, I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, you yourself, when you volunteer your time, that is the impact of you volunteering. What if you got a group of people to do it? What if you had 10 people in your club and you inspired all of them to go form a homework help club where you spent 1 hour a week and you were making a difference in whatever? It could be kids at your school, it could be kids at a neighboring school, it could be your neighbor, it could be the school down the street, whatever, right? You could make a difference there, but not just you, but all 10, right? Then you're multiplying by 10 the impact your volunteering could have. And you could make it a stipulation of the group that we're going to do 2 things. Most of the time we're going to focus on our competition prep, but for 1 hour a week as your dues, if you will, your dues could be something like spending an hour helping to answer questions from those who might be less fortunate as far as their access to resources or their struggle during the pandemic shutdowns. And I think that's about it. That's about what I wanted to share with this as the first part of this series of So You Wanted to Start a Math Club. I will try to film part 2 as soon as I can. I'm sorry I haven't had more time to film. Just been really busy with the competition coming up. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you want, there is a link down below for the Discord server, and there's, you can go there and participate. There's some resources there you might enjoy. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.